I'm going to say officially, good evening and welcome to the Gun Violence Prevention and Safety Committee. Thank you all for being here on this cold day in Florida. And I hope you're keeping warm and please stay inside if you can. Don't go out unless you have to. It's what I understand. So we don't need, I welcome you, but we don't need introductions because the three of us know each other well. And you should have received the minutes from the previous meeting. So if are there any questions or concerns with the minutes? So those will stand approved as received, as presented. And we'll move into updates. And there's one thing that's actually not on the agenda, the February meeting. I need to change the date of the February meeting. And I would like to change it to February 19th. So instead of the 18th, the 19th at the same time. Does that work for the two of you?
It works for me.
Okay. So I will, if it does, I mean, I'm going to send it out to the whole group of people and see if I get a response as to whether or not that, if it's not good, if it, for those that, especially for those that attend on a regular basis, to see if that will work for them. But I do need to change it from the 18th.
And you said the 19th, the Wednesday?
Just change it from Tuesday to Wednesday at 6:30. Okay. So yesterday we tabled at the MLK Day event. I participated in the march from City Hall or from the Memorial Garden over to the King Center, and it went well. It wasn't as it was cold, but it wasn't like bearably cold. It worked out fine. And the only thing I always think is that, the reason that we're here is because of what these people did before us. So it shouldn't hurt me to walk a mile and a half in the cold. And so that went well. And then we got there, thanks to Susie for having the table set up. So we were able to have that. She got all the material and she brought it there, and it was all set up when we got there. Candy participated, Candy Birch and Yvette Carter. So it was four of us at the table. And we had it wasn't as well attended as it has been, but it was good attendance. And I had the MC to remind people that we were there, and that we had gun locks and those kinds of things. Candy is texting that she lost the Zoom link.
Oh no.
Can anybody send that to her right quick if you are able to? So at the tabling, we gave out 12. Well, we gave out 12 gun locks. Yeah, 12 gun locks were distributed, and we gave out ribbons. Probably looks like about 15 ribbons, and about 5 handouts were distributed. So she's on. I see.
Good.
Okay. So I think that that's success. That was good. And especially when I asked the MC to remind people that we were there, why we were there, that's when people started to come over. So we told them what we were about, and we had ribbons that Susie had ordered. And
Yeah.
Susie, please don't forget to submit your invoice for that.
Well, should I wait until maybe the grant is approved?
But we have money in our budget. We have
True.
$500 in the budget, so
we'll figure it out.
So we can cover that. And but we were able to do that, and we stayed a couple of hours because as the crowd started to wind down, we decided to leave. And I was wearing several hats. and
Of course.
shall I say, several shirts. So I kept taking off one and showing the other, depending on what I was doing at the time. So it all worked out well.
Several hats and some really cute shirts.
Yeah. So I think and we had fun. It was a nice program. It was nice. The music, the kids that danced and so forth, and just being there. And I think that I recommend that it be an event that we attend annually. And for voting, for gun prevention, any of those things that the league is doing, I think it would be wise to attend, because we were able to, at least I was able to talk to a few people about making sure that they renew their vote by mail.
Yep.
And that it had expired. So so it went well, and we sent some pictures to Connie, and we also
They're on
saw,
Facebook.
okay. And we also saw a few other league members, including Gwen, that actually participated in the march with another organization. But she did come by the table to greet us.
And she sent a picture too.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she did. I think I did see the Facebook post. So again, that went well. What do you think, Susie? How do you think it turned out?
I agree completely. I especially agree that we should put it on our list, that as long as that we have an invitation, that we should do it every year.
Okay. All right. And Candy, did you have anything to add to the table and event?
No,
Okay. You okay?
I'm not feeling all that well, so I'm just gonna be listening today. So,
Okay.
okay.
Oh, wow, Candy, you're just gonna listen today. Because you always have good things to add. Next on the agenda is a potential collaboration with the Health Committee. So Diane D'Imperio serves on the Health Committee, and she has also been helping us with organizing information, putting together, that we'll talk about later, data on gun violence prevention and so forth. But as a result, that because gun violence prevention is considered a public health problem, the Healthcare Committee would like to work with the Gun Violence Prevention and Safety Committee. They said that they didn't make any decisions, but they contacted me first to find out if collaboration with the committee is something we would support. And the goal would be to provide us with health-related information, help with community activities, and in general, support the work and reduce the number of gun-related suicides and crimes in the community. What do you all think about that?
Absolutely.
It's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea as well, because I think the more assistance we have, the more people involved, the more we can do, and the more great minds can come together and think and come up with things to how we should tackle these issues. So what I was thinking is perhaps at the next meeting, if not the next meeting, the one in March, to invite them to attend our meeting, and so we can have more discussion about what that looks like. But I was glad to hear that they wanted to be involved. So
I think their meetings are usually in person. Sometimes they have a Zoom link, but I don't know that they have one every month.
Theirs are, but maybe they can attend ours, or at least Barb can attend.
Right.
And Miss Candy is also
Crossover.
a member of that committee. So she can always take information back from the committee too, if they can't attend. But I'll let Barbara know, because I told her I wanted before. Of course, I thought it was a great idea, but I wanted to make sure that I brought it to the attention of the committee before I just said, yes, we'll do it. Okay.
Gwendolyn, excuse me, were you saying invite them to the February meeting or the March?
I said I'm thinking the March meeting.
That's what I thought.
And that's only because I sent you all a 15-page document at about 4 o'clock. So I know you haven't had time to review it, and it's probably what we'll talk about at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll see. It'll either be the February or March, but more than likely the March meeting.
Great.
Okay. All right. So then the next item on the agenda is the League of Women Voters Florida, their gun violence prevention meetings. So they have come up with something, and you all received that too. I should have had these so I could share the screen, but it's I'd have to stop and pull up everything, so I'm not going to do that. But it's gun violence issues, impacts, and recommendations for 2025. And I don't know if you all had a chance to look at that. Yeah. But I'll go through it a little bit. So what it is, it's kind of what they want, what we want to take to Tallahassee with us, and talk about what the issues are. It's still in draft form, because they asked for input from us, and it was due a week or so ago, but I haven't received an update yet. But it talks about the issues on one side, and it for instance, that since 2020, firearms are the leading cause of death in America, and for American children and teens ages 1 through 17, surpassing car crashes. And then it just gives that kind of data. And then it talks about suicide, and it talks about unsecured guns. And matter of fact, I use one of the bullets for did you know, for the newsletter, because we said we would start doing that, and that's what I was going to use the one of the reasons one of the things we were going to use the report for, but I just was able to use that from here. So we'll do little snippets from that. But anyway, then on the other side, it says recommended legislative actions. So it says provide funding for public awareness education campaign on safe storage, provide incentives for buying gun locks and safes, including biometrics. So it's those kinds of things. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I think it has good information. It means that we'll be following what the state is doing. And it also, on the second page, it gives the references. We're good at doing that. We make sure we have references as to why we're saying things, which is a good thing. So it would be kind of again, a palm card when we go to Tallahassee to use to show why we support. And we can also use it to further bring about awareness on our social media sites and so forth. But it is in draft form right now. And hopefully it will be finalized soon. Any questions on that, or any comments on that? So next is the bills and the updates as attached. So we have yes. Candy says we're proud of Yvonne Henson for sponsoring the Safe Storage Act, which she had started last time, but she's gotten it. I think it's gotten a little bit further already this time. But the bills, it's 3 of them. I thought it was more. It is more. But it gives the synopsis of the bill and who's the sponsor, and it's kind of gives an update as to what's going on with them. I spoke with Kathy, who is the chair of the Gun Violence Prevention Committee for the state. And at that time, this was the end of December, she had not officially heard from the state yet, the state league, but we have since then, because we have the 4 priorities, and gun violence prevention is one of them. But so we do know that now. But both both House Bill 15 and House Bill 65, she says they are consistent with our league position of advocating for safe storage. Then House Bill 31 and House Bill 94 are not. So we need to be aware of that. And it says we don't support open carry nor the rollback of measures that were enacted after the Parkland shooting. So I think this helps us to again, as what our goal is to further bring about awareness. And if we are going to Tallahassee, we will. I don't know exactly how the league operates when we go to Tallahassee with all the different leagues being there, but at least we will be aware of what's going on with that, and we can chime in and participate also. And I do believe that the lobby days, the lobby days are March 11th and 12th. So if anyone is planning to attend, I'm not going to be able to attend, but if anyone is planning to attend, please make sure you have the most updated information for the gun violence prevention bills, as well as I know you're going to be, you'll probably be there for some of the other measures as well. But if you can make sure that you know that you are the representative for this committee as far as that goes.
And registration for lobby days is open now.
Yes, it is. It is open. So I did see that. So how does it how does the league do lobby days? What is there one you go in groups to see the different legislators, or how does it work?
Gwen, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Gwendolyn, I've been to lobby days, and the first day is basically you're in a room at the hotel, and the state is kind of going over all of the stuff that they're, like they'll have somebody talk about gun violence, have somebody talking about, the 4 different priorities. And then the next day is really the day, seems like, that you go in and have breakfast at the hotel, and then you go and do what you can to get in and visit your legislators, or watch if you can watch a committee process, or if you could, if there's something going on the floor, that's great too. And in the past, I believe Gene Robinson has been the one that's kind of set up appointments, but I don't know. There have been legislators who really aren't too interested in talking to us,
Mm.
because our goals are not the same. So it was very difficult last year. So we just had to kind of plunk ourselves down, and just visit the office and talk to the aides and stuff. So, but I will tell you that I was talking to Janice, and she said that they've got kids that, students who want to go, but no adults. And so, I mean, I don't know about no adults, but it's one of those things where it's just such a wonderful opportunity to really talk and see what is going on at that beautiful, at that beautiful venue. So
Okay.
I won't be able to go because I'm, having my knee,
You're having surgery.
but it's really wonderful. And it's again, for me, it's all about visibility, league visibility. So having the kids there is important, but having somebody who can guide them is also important. So I'll, I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I know the state committee will be working closely. I'm just speaking about the gun violence prevention part. We'll be working hard on this, and also since we will be working with the health committee, they someone from that committee may be attending as well. So we'll just kind of talk through that and see if that's happening. And the lobbying sounds exactly like what Delta does, because we have Delta days at the Capitol as well. And it's sometime in March. I've forgotten when though, but it's the same thing. And oftentimes we only talk to the aides, but we have something that we leave with the aide, and, and attend the committee meetings, and also, have appointments, and we have workshops. We have separate workshops with our groups as to what we need to do and what we should be facing. Same setup, pretty much, same setup. So we'll work on that. Excuse me, and I'm gonna also try to push this with Delta as well. Okay. Anything else about that? All right. Digital Democracy Project. I'm gonna try to explain that. Okay, so I was on a meeting with the state, and I actually did put it on my phone. It's an electronic app. What's an app? And has anybody heard about it? Okay, all right. Good. Connie has heard about it. That's good.
I actually advertised it last year during the election. Or
Okay,
actually, not last year during the election, during the last legislative session.
okay, all right. What do you think about it?
I am on it too, so.
Okay. So what are you all's thoughts about it? Think it's worthy? No?
Well,
I,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Candy.
I think really it'll be more exciting when there's actual
Yeah.
bill. That the problem is, what you do is they put this thing out and then they go, what do you think about it?
Mhm.
And you get to vote, and you don't have to vote and all that kind of stuff. But in my head, it's not as useful if a lot of people don't do it. It's all about the numbers. And so if we should be I think it's one way of saying, this is what I believe in, you Florida legislators, and giving them some real numbers is what I think they do. What would you say about that, Connie? Is that about right? I don't know.
I think that is right. And they also will provide you a score. You can go look at your
Mhm.
legislatures and see how often they've agreed with you on topics. I think more people need to participate to make it really valuable. And I worry a little bit about their descriptions of the bills that are going through process. Because sometimes the bills are worded very confusing to make them sound like they're better than they are.
Right. Mhm.
And I don't know if they're just taking the language of the bill and then trying it's not like things I've seen where they put it in plain language. Like they try, but there are times I wouldn't vote because I was like, I can't tell if this is an affirmative or a negative. Like if I'm voting yes, am I supporting this thing or am I voting against this thing? So sometimes they weren't very clear about that. And then I haven't found much interest in using it outside the legislative session.
I agree with. I had one. It seems like the last one I looked at had 6 different things, and the very first one I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even vote. And I thought, well, should I know more about this? And but the rest of them I was able to do. But you're right. I mean, it requires some adjusting to it. It would be an easy thing to do a little webinar, like a little Zoom thing if you want to know how to do it. Speakers Bureau could help with that, but it's not just automatically intuitive. So.
Okay. Well, at that meeting, that Zoom meeting, they had someone from the project to come in and to show us how to sign up and that kind of thing. And I think she's been or they have been going around to the various chapters, leagues, and trying to get more participation and so forth. So all I did was sign up. That's about it. I haven't done anything else with it. But I did think it was interesting to be able to see that, but I can also be able to see what's going on and to know that those folk in Tallahassee can see what's being thought. But I understand the part about if people don't participate, it's not going to help a lot. So the more participation you have, the better. I guess the better the outcome or the more usable it would be. But I just wanted to mention that they're doing that, and I didn't know if that was something that Connie, I didn't know that you had already put it out, so it's
Mhm.
already
And-
out there.
I'll make a note to put it in the next voter too,
Okay, all right.
and start, and especially now that League of Women Voters of Florida is pushing it, then I feel more comfortable pushing it.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. The local gun violence alliance, I don't have any update on that. That's the community alliance, and haven't heard anything since our last meeting. When there was an issue with the funding. Candy, I'm sorry to make you talk so much, but have you heard anything else about regarding the alliance?
No, I have not, but boy, do I want to know.
I know. So they've gotten kind of quiet on us since that meeting where there was the disagreement and the funding was pulled from it. So I don't
They
know.
did have a new newsletter, but I didn't read it closely enough to know if it talked about that.
Am I
Okay.
remembering correctly that Gainesville pulled out of it, but I think Alachua County picked up on it. And so it's not going to go away, and in some ways that might be better, to have a more of a countywide, because I know there's probably more gun violence in the city of Gainesville, but that can't be the only place it happens. I don't know.
Right, right. Yeah. So we'll just continue to monitor what they're doing and how we fit in there as well. And speaking of local, since we have recently had our new sheriff elected and sworn in. I'm going to work toward having a meeting with him or inviting him to come and talk to us about gun violence. He mentioned it a lot while he was campaigning. So now we want to follow up with him and then to see how did he think that what does he think the league can do to help in this or to assist, and we can also, of course, give him our input. So I'm going to work on meeting with him.
When I,
And,
oh,
go ahead, Candy.
when I went to the legislative delegation thing, of course, everybody's there, and he was there. And I said, at our last voter services meeting, we talked about having different people come to our voter services meeting. And he goes, "Oh, I'll come." And so I bet you'll get a lot of, I bet he'd be happy, especially to come to our committee because, it's a big thing, and it would be interesting to know how he feels about the state Safe Storage Act, because that Safe Storage Act requires police departments to put on campaigns to promote safe storage
Mhm.
vehicles. So, I mean, it might be interesting to see how he feels about that and where he's going with that, and could we be of help with that or anything like that. So,
Yeah, yeah. Connie?
And when we do invite him, if we could do it with enough notice, I would love to invite all league members,
yes.
just to get a bigger audience for him.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that's exactly what I was thinking, that we would do it in a way where we would have time to have an audience. And that would be good. So yeah, we will
Even if it's not part of a regular gun violence meeting, just a
Right,
separate
right,
event just for
right.
that.
Mhm. So we'll look at maybe getting on his calendar, getting some days, and then trying to work that out where we would have just a talk with the sheriff.
I think that's a great idea,
Mhm.
and that will again bring visibility to the league, but also make all league members feeling like whether you're on the committee or not, just come and learn something, because so I think that's a great idea, Connie.
Yeah, and come up with a catchy title for the session. But just yeah,
He may
I'll
have
see.
ideas.
Yeah, I'll see what I can get from him, and then get it planned with notice that so that we can advertise it. Okay. Next is I'm gonna skip E, which is the data collection report. I'm gonna save that for last. But I'll go to the county grant proposal. And I sent to you the information regarding the grant. So what you saw that starts with the date December 4th, project name and so forth, that is what was actually submitted. So that it was submitted electronically, but this is the document that's been submitted. So I wanted you all to have a copy of that. I had been waiting to get the final one, and we got to give special thanks to Diane again for getting this done, Diane D'Imperio. So she put it together, then she sent it to me, then I did some edits with it, and this is the final project, final submission. And so we're still waiting. We haven't heard anything as to whether or not we're going to be funded. But I always have to look for something in it. Even if we're not funded, it's got some good information of things and how we need to proceed. So we'll go from there. Along with that is the I tell you, I'm so organized, but sometimes I'm unorganized. Along with that was the plan. The plan for it's a draft. The draft plan for the next 2 years that relates to the money, relates to the grant. So you have a copy of that. It says Gun Violence Prevention and Safety Committee plan for 2025-27 draft. I don't know if you all had a chance to read through that or not.
It's good.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And
Good
so
and great.
good and great. So if you're okay with it, that's our plan. If we need to make some adjustments to it, let me know or let us know. So Diane wanted to be here tonight, but she had another meeting that I think she says only happens once a year, so she had to attend that. I think it had something to do with her homeowners so association. But if she wanted to say if you had any questions or she needed to make any changes or whatever, just submit them in an email to me and her, and then we can do that. But I think this gives us a plan for how we need to proceed. And again, with or without the money, the grant, whether we're funded, it still gives us a plan.
Yeah.
And we can still do a lot of the things that's there. Obviously, money helps to make things better, but we can do things even if we don't. And we still do have, I'm told that we have the $500, but I'm also Janice also told me that if we have projects we want to work on, we can also make a request for money from what's this called, the Hustler Fund.
Hustler.
Yeah, that's what she said. So I don't know, but that's a possibility as well.
So Diane was at the last healthcare committee meeting, and she was telling us about, it looked like, that one of the focuses is suicide, and we just kind of brainstormed some things, like maybe doing some PSAs. Maybe Speakers Bureau could help by doing some really short talks to local groups, and writing some op-eds that don't, those don't cost. They talked about maybe, taking our show on the road to churches and breweries and, places like Bass Pro and Walmart and stuff like that. So if the committee was pretty excited about the opportunity to work on gun violence with this committee. And so it's just a matter of, putting it together. So
Right.
you've started something there, Gwendolyn. So now you just have to follow through.
And I will.
But I mean, it was kind of, it was neat that, that people were excited about doing, being a part of the solution. So,
I think that's great. And the things that you talked about are part of what's in this plan. And those are the things we want to do. So I think that the great thing is the fact that the other committee wants to help, wants to be a part of this, because we could always use the people power to get the word out. And I think we can do some good things. So looking forward to that. And I will let the board know at the meeting next week, what we have. I sent it to Janice, has it already. She has the draft plan, and she has what was submitted to the for the grant, and she also has the other document that we'll talk about in a minute, the data collection. So yeah, so I think I see progress. We've been making progress from the beginning, but I see it starting to pick up and become our own now. And we finding our niche. Yeah, and yes. And so the more involvement, the better. And we'll work on that. But if you have anything that, if you look at it again and see anything there, please let us know. Okay. So again, the buttons and ribbons. So we have some ribbons. How many are there, Susan?
We've got, or we had originally 250.
Okay.
And they were about $50, and that's with the pins. So.
All right. And so we gave those out yesterday, and we will continue to give those out just like the locks as we go, and make sure people know what it represents. And as I was telling them, because the kids are always looking for something when they see our table. They always, and I thought about that we need to have something that's truly kid related. But I gave them ribbons, and they took it. I told them why they were wearing those ribbons, but I asked their guardians first it was okay to give them to them, and they did, and to tell them what the ribbon represented. And I said, let's go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, finish, please.
No, I was gonna say, I told them that I said this represents that to let people know that you are an advocate of gun violence prevention, that you don't want to see that happen. You don't want to see bad things happen with guns. Yeah.
I could not remember. There are many things I don't remember these days, but I could not remember if we talked about it in this group or if it was another group about why they use orange as a symbol of gun violence awareness. Why orange? It wasn't in this group?
I don't think so, because I don't know why they use orange, but I think because there's so many colors of different things out there. Like you have the purple for domestic violence, you have the pink for breast cancer. So
well,
I'm not sure.
I do know at least an answer that's out there. Connie, were you going to say something?
It's for visibility, right? Like the hunters in their vests.
Exactly it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
is it? Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay. You knew the answer. It was a test.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Hunters wear orange to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that they're visible. So anyway, that just was meaningful to me. So
that's meaningful to me. I think that sounds like the next newsletter. Did you know? Why does the orange? Because moms demand action, wear the orange shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could save that tidbit for, is it June? I don't remember what month is gun violence awareness.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea as well. Whatever, because everything has a month as well.
It does.
several things in some months. So
Yes, like that one
yes.
overlaps with Pride.
Yes. So, okay, well, we remember that, but I think that's a good little trivia question as to why the ribbon is orange. Okay. And going back to tidbits, yes, we are trying to pick up on something to put in each newsletter if there's room. I mean, when we give the update, that'll just be like Mickey did that when she put just the update of this committee, and then at the bottom it said, "Did you know?" And we talked about one of the things that was on that issues paper. So we'll be doing that hopefully monthly. And again, to me, that shows the progress of the committee and things that we're doing. So still, we're bringing about awareness. And so that's helpful. The last, what we did was, which one was it? I think this has changed. I was trying to see the one we used, but it the draft that I had when I did that has changed since then. So I can't find it on here as to which tidbit we use.
Pull up the voter.
Okay.
Did you know since 2020, firearms have been the leading cause of death for American children and teens aged 1 to 17, surpassing car crashes?
Okay.
And
so we
guns
used the
killed
first.
nearly 7 children under the age of 17 every day in 2022.
Okay. All right. So that's the first one that's on the issues and impacts. So I think that's good information to have. It brings attention. Again, it's the part about bringing awareness, and it's not good news, but it's the truth.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, and going back to our focus would be suicide prevention, because there and the logic behind that was that those that were applying for the grant was basically focusing on street violence. And if we then say, hey, we'll be looking at suicide, that might be a little bit different from what everybody was doing and may increase our chances of being approved for the grant. So we look at that. We look at street violence too, but our major focus would be suicide prevention. Candy?
If we get the grant, I'm not positive, but maybe your friend who does our t-shirt could design an orange t-shirt that has the League of Women Voters with the gun violence prevention thing, so that when we go and table, we have a league, but also a gun, that we mesh the two in some ways. I mean, I wouldn't mind buying a t-shirt separately, but if that happens to come by, I mean, it would be good to have something that when we do table will be, will be very visible because of our orange, and then our shirt will say will say Alachua County League. So that's a thought, just a thought.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Good idea. Yeah. And we can always do that. And of course, if Connie is available to work with that, because she makes sure that we're decent and in order whenever we do anything, that we're following the league guidelines. So that sounds good. And so what about the buttons, Connie?
Do I have the ability to share my screen? No.
Well, I can
enable?
give you that. Let's see. You should be able to now.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Can you see my Excel screen?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously the cheapest, these were the 4 designs that we picked here across the top. The cheapest is to just buy them as is. And you can see the quantity prices. The first pin is a 3-inch pin, and the other 2 are 2.5 or 2.25 inch pins. They did slightly change this design since I originally took the screenshot, although actually the screenshot came from over here. So what I found about this one is it's actually a 1-inch pin, which are the little
Small.
ones that the college students really like. But they're tiny, but it comes in an 8-pack. So you buy an 8-pack for $6.88. And so you would have to buy multiples of those, obviously. Some of them were only, like this one was only available in as one at a time. But some, like as you got more, they would become cheaper and cheaper. I did create custom with the logo on round versions. I spelled it out here because there was no way to fit the logo in a rounded fashion, but the rest of them just have a little LWV at the bottom. And then I got not quotes, but I looked online, and if we don't go local to have custom ones made, these are the prices each for each pin. One's a 2-inch and one's a 2.25-inch by Imprint versus Sticker Mule. I don't know if they have additional setup fees or charges for color, shipping, things like that. But this is a rough idea. I reached out to Ulta. I don't know that they do pins, and they never got back with me, but this B Print and Design is a Gainesville company. And Brian there has been extremely eager to help us. And if there is something that we want, like he's already got the images. And the thing that was interesting about his pins is that they are square, which I thought actually might stand out more. Because they don't just blend in with all the other round buttons. So the designs are ever so slightly changed. The 2 round ones in the beginning might look a little funny on a square because it's just the circle in the middle of the square, but the other ones look kind of nice on a square. But he has a minimum of 100 and they're $240 a piece. And if we get 200, then it's $188. And what I didn't know is, do you want multiple designs? Or do you want to just get one design? How many did you want? And did you want to just stick with generic where it's cheaper, or go local and get something customized? I'm opening the meeting to feedback.
I like the idea of customized. I
Okay.
like having the league logo, something, that relates to us on the button. And I had a few square buttons that they sent me from our, no, where was it from? From Broward County. She sent a
Oh,
few, and it
cool.
said, we wore them yesterday, and it said, ask me what I'm doing to stop gun violence, or something to that effect. And it was
Yeah.
orange. It was an orange button with black print.
Yeah.
So the square buttons do kind of stand out. But I like the customized. What do you all think, Connie and Susie? I mean, Candy and Susie.
Susie, you go first.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up. I don't remember if, oh, I'm not muted. Okay. I like the idea of supporting a local manufacturer. And I like all of these. So these 4, these are 1-inch, did you say?
They would probably be for the 2-inch. They would be 2-inch square if we went local.
Okay, all right. But I like them very much.
And we can go any size you want, though. We can go smaller or bigger. He had a long range of choices. I will say that something about the process gets sent to Miami. So there is a $15 shipping, even if we go with the local company. But he is based in Gainesville, so I would imagine we could pick up directly from him.
I think that
Okay.
I like them all as well. And I like the League of Women Voters being on the button. And I like the idea of giving them to the adults, but I wonder if we couldn't, remember you were just talking about, is there something we could give to the kids? Could we do duplicate stickers that we could hand out to the kids? And that was one of the things that I remember Jane was, and we were, I can't remember which festival but she had bought all kinds of, she had just bought a whole big roll of, little stickers that were like an inch, and that they were pre-made and everything. But the kids really liked the stickers, and they think they were, might have been a little cheaper. And
Oh, I
then
bet a lot cheaper.
and then the adults would, I mean, I like the idea of a button for the adults. I mean, because they're more likely to actually wear them, in my mind. But anyway, that's just a thought that came to my head, and it's not a big deal one way or the other, but just a thought that we could do both and have something for the kids. Although these messages might be a little bit, I don't know. I haven't figured out, what kind of a message would be good for the kids to wear, so, or something like keep me safe, prevent gun violence, or something like that. Might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just a thought that came, it's brainstorming. So
Mhm.
I like that. I like that right there. Keep me safe. Prevent gun violence. I like that. That sounds perfect to me for the kids, because it would be better to have something that's not as straightforward as these are.
Mhm.
Candy, was it you that mentioned that someone that does, somebody else that that does buttons?
I think you're probably thinking of Janice and Janice Gary. We had a member at the Christmas party. Remember, Connie? And he had made some buttons that,
I don't remember that.
No,
well,
Was
it
it
was someone yesterday.
Yes, and was it
Oh.
the person that was with Gwen?
With who?
Maybe when Gwen was there?
Oh, the person that was with Gwen
Or
Wagner.
maybe it was Gwen, who mentioned it.
It was someone that said something about a person that does buttons that they didn't have a whole lot of information on, and what what that involved. I mean, how they made them, or how much they cost, or whatever. But I can't. I know it was said yesterday, but I just don't remember who said it.
Kind of think it was Gwen.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
it was she's something that was a college student, and she was doing it, as a side to earn money.
Yeah. To help earn
But
money.
she said
In my searching, I did find that it looks like students and probably UF faculty and staff can use a machine at Marston Science Library to make buttons. I didn't look into it. I just saw the link and I was like, oh, looks like they have a machine to make them.
a lot of libraries have, well, maybe I'm just thinking of Kansas, but almost every library in my town has a maker space where you can 3D print, make buttons and like that. I don't,
Wow.
and so, I mean, it's just a maker space, but I don't know that I've seen anything like that at Alachua yet, but it's kind of a up and coming. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it gives people an opportunity to not only use the computers, but to also actually end up with something, at the end. And so it's kind of cool.
So what do you want me to
Let's see.
do next?
Yeah, so how do we move forward? What do we do next?
I can ask him if he does stickers and what they would cost and what the options are. And then I could potentially work on a design for one. If we wanted buttons, which button would we want and how many?
I was trying to do the math and 188, if I was looking at the 200 times, that's $376 there. So
Yep. And 240 for the 100.
yeah, okay. So what do you all think? Because I think we need to go ahead and start doing something. And what we're in January.
The end of January.
We're at the end of January, and we will be going back up for budget.
I would say at least 100. I don't know. again, if we bought the 100 and then maybe got the grant, then we could get more.
Right.
I do like the idea of, having them, if somebody was able from our, who's into this, was going to lobby days, that would be great to, to wear them,
That's a good idea.
as for visibility and stuff. But, most of us, wear something that's league and then, buttons and stuff, but that might be kind of cool. But I'd say start with 100, but it's not a big deal to be one way or the other. So.
I
And it-
agree. I think we should start with 100 just because I'm basing my comment on what we have right now and on hand budget wise.
And which design would you want?
Um,
Try to pull it in.
Can we have more than one?
No, well, if you want to buy more than 100, I mean, 100 is the minimum for the local
Oh.
person.
Okay,
and it has to be one design for each.
Mhm.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
I'm at the last two.
yeah, I would agree. And it'll be square, and I'm actually leaning, like, I would probably prefer this one.
I agree.
It's a little simpler.
I like it.
I like it too. It's it's easy to read, even from
Mhm.
sense, and
Whoops,
it doesn't
sorry.
have the wrong. I mean, it doesn't have the pictures. I don't.
Right,
I don't like that. So
yes.
yeah, I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just kind of matter of fact, and it's like, there you are without being overly,
Mhm.
I don't know, graphic.
Right.
Yeah.
He does have a $40 setup fee and the $15 shipping, so it would be 55 more than the
Mhm.
240. So
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think we should go with 100 and go with
Okay.
that design, and
Okay.
then follow up with the stickers.
Yep. Okay. And
And
I will ask him how much they cost, and then we can work on a design
yes,
separate from that. Okay.
yes, and then I think that we do want to get and I call them brochure and the palm cards or whatever,
Yes.
something we can hand out, but that may come later. I mean, it will come later, and at that point we'll be making another budget request at that point. So that'll get us through now, and again, if we receive the grant and also the opportunity to ask for any monies to request, that never hurts to ask,
Right.
for through that funding that we have available, and we go from there.
Okay.
All right, sounds great. Thank you all so much.
One more thing, and this is just for down the road, down the road. When we table, just for the league, we have that. The League of Women Voters of Florida has given us those retractable signs, that they stand up taller than, and stuff like that. But maybe if we get that grant, that would be a good time to make up a retractable sign that really brings attention to the gun violence prevention theme, because the ones that we have from the state, one of them is the theme of returning citizens. And so they're theme based, and so we might be able, and it's possible, I suppose, that maybe the state would have one. I'll ask.
Okay.
I'll ask.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds very good. I wanted to, if that's all on that, we move on to H, which is the Gun Violence Prevention Forum that's taking place on February 27th. You can register to attend virtually, and it's from 9 to 2. It's a free program. So don't forget, if you want to do that, you can. And then to step back just a little bit, the the League of Women Voters Florida, the convention is October 6th, June, June 6th and 7th in Orlando. Maybe that's where I got the O from. But that's coming up. And the Gun Violence Prevention Committee for Florida, they are looking to host a workshop during that time, maybe a panel. And we'll see if they just want different leagues to talk about what they're doing as it relates to gun violence prevention. Yes, Susie?
The June, convention, that's for the state league?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
What's cool about going to the state league, if it's in Orlando, it's a lot closer than Tallahassee, and they might have it in a nice hotel. That would be fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When does the registration and when does the information come out on that typically? Do we know?
I'm not sure. If I'm not did you say it was in June? I mean,
June,
I'm-
June 6th and 7th.
yeah, I'm out of town by then. I'm back in Kansas by then, but it really is kind of it's a neat, it's good again to meet the people who are kind of in the same, sense of passion with you and that kind of thing. So it's like all conventions. The more you
Yeah.
see somebody in person, the closer you feel about asking for advice or sharing ideas and that kind of stuff. So
It's now that I may be able to attend. It just depends on I don't know the cost involved and those kinds of things, but we'll see.
well, I'm pretty positive that there's some money in the budget for some of that. So I don't know if to pay everything, but I think they offer some remuneration for that.
Okay. I will look into that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the final thing, we're at 7:33, y'all. So this is just gonna be not to discuss, but just to present real quickly. I sent you, it's a 15-page document on that Miss Diane DePerio put together, and it's on firearm death and injury in Alachua County. And I know you haven't had a chance to review it because like I said, I just sent it to you right before this meeting. But please take some time to look at what she has put together. This is the document that we have been talking about that we wanted to get, and we will update it as necessary, but it'll be kind of our let's say it'll be a part of our toolkit to use to see where things are, to see what statistics look like and so forth, and what we need to bring awareness about, and the thing, and if we do presentations, we can refer to it and that kind of thing. But it helps us to know what's going on in the community, and it also will be the document from which we can possibly create the palm cards that we're talking about, but it will be updated as information becomes available and changes.
And once again, the Speakers Bureau I'm thinking that this might give us an opportunity to grow the Speakers Bureau, because if we have an opportunity to, to present anywhere, there may be some other members of our league that would like to be a part of that. So that'd be very neat.
Yeah, and Diane and I are part of the Speakers Bureau, so we're available to do that along. Of course, you the chair, but then if we have others, yeah, that might just happen. So it's good information. I'm so happy to have it. So when you get, as you are snowed in for the next day or so, just pick up this document and read through it, please, and make any comments and suggestions or that you feel necessary. If you find anything that we need to work on with it, just let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, get you some coffee, tea, wine, whatever, and just sit back and enjoy these documents.
Some
Thank,
light reading.
Yes,
thank you so much, Gwendolyn.
yes.
Just before I do my book club book, I mean
Yeah.
it.
Yes, yes, yes. Just take a moment and enjoy the document and see what you can pull from it. But again, let's thank Diane for working on that for me, for us. But I did say, can you please do that? Can you please do the research on this? And she did, and we really appreciate that. Because once Diane starts doing research,
It's her superpower.
that's her superpower. So yeah, so I didn't want to, we can't really dive into it because we just got it, or you just got it. But take a look at it, and we will use it as our resource guide as we continue on. And I do think Connie brought up last meeting that last month was the year that we had been, that this committee had been in existence. And I think that we've done good in
Mhm.
that time.
I-
Because we started out by just asking where are we, what we need to do, who's doing what in the community. We got a couple of speakers, and as a result of the speakers, we got partners. We haven't done a whole lot of partnerships yet, but we did do one or two, and we will continue to work with moms, and we get information from them all the time. So we want to utilize that too. And speaking of that, they also gave a handout on that I sent you when I sent this last document that talked about House Bill, one of the House bills. I don't,
Yeah.
what was it, 65?
65. Mhm.
Yeah, and some talking points for when you go to lobby days.
I believe Moms Demand Action is recommending, that we write to the members of that committee.
Yes, yes.
And I did develop a little, a little short email. I'll send it to you all, just to give you a sense of what, I sent it to Gene West, and they said it was okay. So, just a little short and sweet to maybe pick and choose, because I'm not positive that all those people are, I don't know. I don't think any of them are from Alachua County. I can't remember, but anyway, the idea is to get the people on the committee to, to have some pressure. So I'll send it to you if I can get upstairs and do that. So.
And if I'm not mistaken, they want it to go by the 23rd.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that perhaps that may have been a little bit because, they're having a snow day, and everybody, and all the committee meetings were canceled today and tomorrow, I think. And so, but yes, but I'll send it to you this evening.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and that's all. That paper, I think, also had the email addresses, but I'll attach that same document. And
Yes, and I sent this document out, like I said earlier, with
Yeah.
that, and it's the sale, transfer, and storage of firearms, and then it gives what that says, and then it gives you talking points, and it's asking you to send that to the Criminal Justice Subcommittee, and it
Right.
does have all the contact information there.
Right.
And they're all 850. Well, that's Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Yeah.
That's Tallahassee. So yeah, and so if you feel so inclined, you can send that out. It does not go against anything that the league supports it, and the league supports legislation, correct? It's so that we would not be out of order by doing that
And you're reaching out as a citizen anyway.
as a citizen.
You're
Okay.
not putting League of Women Voters in
Right.
there anywhere. So yeah.
Okay. So
And what's
go ahead.
what's also good about it is that it's it's one of those things that it just lets people know that people are paying attention to them,
Absolutely.
even this early before it starts and stuff.
Mhm.
So if we could get if we could get other people to do it, that'd be great too. So,
My only question / concern is that it's my understanding from groups like Indivisible and other legislative groups is that the legislators only really care if you're a constituent of theirs. And so if you call, I mean, maybe, I don't know if they even log it as a yes or no, I support this bill, if you're not one of their constituents.
I think in some ways that's true, but these are people who are committee members.
Right.
And so I absolutely understand that. And then one of the people on that Moms Demand Action group said that she talked to a legislative aide and she said, don't bother to call because nobody listens to the voicemails. So you might as well just send an email. That was interesting. I thought,
Yeah.
why, if
Yeah,
that's the case, why give a phone number if you're not going to listen to the voicemail?
Yeah.
But
just I think I understand what you're saying, Connie, that they're only interested in those that vote for them as to what they're saying. But it also probably is good to just inundate them with the, fill their emails up with this, with emails. And so I can't I sent this to the whole group, but I'm gonna send it again just by itself and just say, that if you're so inclined as an individual, please send an email to the committee regarding
Maybe,
this bill.
maybe send that with Candy's little template.
Yeah.
Make it
Yeah.
easier.
I'll try to go find it right now and send it. So, because I
Okay.
was going to do something with it tonight anyway, but I wasn't feeling that great. So, okay. So I'll do that. Okay.
If you get a chance, if you feel up to it, send it to me, then I can send it to the whole group. Because I
Okay.
always do blind copy so that you don't get inundated if
Right.
people start to.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
All right. Well, it sounds good. And that was all that I had. Are there any other comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Gwen.
And thank you,
And thank you.
Susie.
Yeah. All right.
Connie did miss that. The next meeting will not be February 18th. It'll be February 19th. Candy, I mean. Those.
Oh,
So we got yeah, I asked that we change that meeting to that Wednesday.
oh, okay, cool.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you all and have a good evening and stay safe and don't play in the snow too much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Stay
Bye-bye.
warm.